Stick around, ladies and gentlemen, because today we done knocked out redfish cookbook. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to record the first video on our cafe model stove. Ooh, boy, I'm excited. So you already know, get your pot, hit it up. Ooh, man, look at that flame. Beautiful. So I'm gonna put this on a low setting because the first thing I'm dropping in here is butter. And as you know, we do not want to burn the butter. All right, so what I have here is roughly 3 pounds of fresh fillets of red fish. Me and my boy, Coach Dupre, we went out in the kayaks and caught our limit of redfish, man, some fighters. It was a great time. I took these bad boys to my backyard, filleted them up, and now I have them here in front of me ready to cook for you. And I'm excited about this. All right, so the first thing you want to do with your fish is make sure you pat them down really good, both sides, you know, just to kind of get rid of that moisture on the outside of the fish. It's going to help with seasoning them, you know, having the seasoning stick to them, and, you know, when we pan sear them in the butter. After I do that, I'm actually going to cut these into some smaller portions that are just better for serving. All right, now that I got these cut up, I'm going to go ahead and season them with some generous portions of Pi-YAHHHH seasoning. Get them all seasoned up, both sides. We'll be good to go. Okay, so now that the fish is seasoned, I'm going to set it aside for now so I can get my vegetables chopped up. All right, so for my vegetables, I have 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, 1 bunch of green onion, 2 sticks of celery, and 2 yellow onions. And I'm going to put the Pi-YAHHHH on all of this, kind of like this onion right here. Pi-YAHHHH! You just never know how bad it's going to get. Gotta clean this up. We have got our vegetables chopped. It is now time to get our butter melted. Butter, party of 2. Let me show you to your seat. So as always, we start on a low heat with butter because butter can burn if you drop it into a very hot pot. Now that we've dropped it in, we can increase our heat. We're gonna go to about a medium setting, which would be about maybe 5 here. And we'll just let this get melted. All right, so I've since raised the heat. I actually put it on like a 7 now. I want this pan hot because I'm going to try to sear up these fish, you know, almost get them to where they're blackened. So I'm getting it hot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drop in the thinner pieces of fish first because I just want to get them out the way. I'm not going to sear these for too long, just probably a few minutes on each side. Try to gently flip these over. Whew, there we go. Shoot. That is looking beautiful. All right, I removed them first pieces of fish. So now I'm about to grab some more here and start layering them in. All right, we got our fish. Just dropping them vegetables. Scoop that in. All right, so we're gonna saute this for about 30 minutes. So some of that butter is in this bowl. I'm gonna try to pour some of that back into my pot here because I need that butter. All right, I believe I got most of it. It's looking good. Just gonna keep sauteing these vegetables. Now look, if you an OG and you've seen me do the catfish cookbook, you know that I added the fish in raw, which you can do. I mean, if you want to add it in later after the sauce is all cooked down, you can let the fish cook down in the sauce. You know, this time around, I wanted to sear the fish in the butter. I just thought it'd be really cool to season it up and kind of blacken it on both sides. I'm really interested to see how this all comes out, but yeah, I'm excited about it. So, you know, just just keep on watching. So I dropped it down to a 3.5, I guess. You know, I'm still new to these numbers. My old stove had, you know, medium, low, high. So, you know, I'm getting here a little quicker than I normally would, which is not a bad thing, you know, as long as I'm not burning anything. And for anyone who's wondering, yeah, I got this stove from Lifestyle Appliances over in Elmwood, Louisiana. So if you want to go check them out, man, the showroom is amazing. And you can be cooking it up just like me. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes. At this time, I'm going to try to push these vegetables to one side here and get this butter to kind of leak out. So that way I can add some flour to just the butter, and then I'll gradually mix it in all together. So to this butter, I'm adding 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. And I'm going to get that stirred in here. Try to just mix it into where it can be a nice smooth mixture. Once I got the flour kind of blended evenly there in the butter, I'm going to go ahead and add it to all the vegetables. There we go. And then from here, I will continue to cook this down until I get my roux kind of about a caramel color. So for many stoves, this part could take up to another 30 minutes, you know, even 40 minutes. Mine seems to be putting out some heat, man, so we'll see how quickly we get here. But, you know, I do want to make sure I get that nice color before I go adding anything else. Except for garlic. I'll probably add that in a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of minced garlic to this. We've been cooking for about 10 minutes, so seemed like a good time. All right, guys, the flour has browned up beautifully. It didn't take me long either, man. It took only about 10 minutes. This stove, man, is impressive. You know, the amount of heat coming off this burner right here. You know, and each burner's different. I mean, you can see they got different size burner. That's a double burner. This is a little simmer burner. There's another small burner, I think, back here. This one's actually fairly large. I don't know if you can see how big that is, but I wanted, you know, the larger burner for the bigger pot. But anyway, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and add 6 ounces of tomato paste. So, boom, there we go. And you want to remove that right there, so you don't want to cook that. Trust me. I'm going to get that tomato paste blended in with the rest of this. And probably saute this down for a few minutes just to let it blend in. And move on. All right, now that we've got that in there, we're going to add a 28-ounce can of crushed tomato. Crushed tomato. Crush it up. All right, so now that we're blending this in there beautifully, at this point I'm going to put this on a low setting, because I really want to get things to a simmer now. All right, to this I'm adding a 10-ounce can of diced tomato and green chilies. Most of y'all know is Rotel. Get that blended in there. All right, next I'm adding 2 15-ounce cans of tomato sauce. I'll blend that around. All right, so I'm gonna put a cup of water in each one of these cans right here, just to get them rinsed around. And then I'll add those 2 cups to this cup of crushed tomato, just so I can get everything up from this, and I'll add it to my pot over here. All right, let's pour this in. Beautiful. Mix that around. All right, to our red gravy here, we are adding a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of parsley flakes, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper. All right, let's go ahead and blend that in. Okay, so at this point, we're going to raise the heat up, I guess to about a 7, 8-ish, you know, something high, because I want to get like a slight bubbling with this. And then from there, I'll cover and lower to a simmering heat. All right, that's about where we want to be, okay? So at this point, we're going to go ahead and cover this up, lower our fire to a simmering heat, and then we'll let this cook for 1 hour. Probably coming back about every 10 minutes or so and stirring the bottom real good so nothing's sticking. All right, so I got about 30 minutes left of cooking. At about this point, I will get some rice cooking. 1 hour is up. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. So we got a nice little light simmer there. Looks good. All right, so I've been stirring this periodically. I'll give it one more good stir here. Yes, indeed. Pi-YAHHHH! All right, so I'm gonna get my fish in here. Normally I wouldn't do this, but oh, there we go. I would do it like one at a time or something, you know. That worked out pretty good. Boom. All right, so I'm gonna gently push this fish down in the gravy, and we're gonna simmer this again for about another like 20 minutes or so, just to let the fish really soak in with the sauce, gravy, what have you. Ooh, I cannot wait to eat this. It's gonna be so good. All right, so the fish are submerged. I'm gonna cover this up, keep that on a low heat. Just let it cook for another 20 minutes and we are good to go. And that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Redfish Bouillon. It is time we plate up. Look at that right there. Oh my gosh. That is some goodness right there, man. Still piping hot. You know, it is what it is. I mean, you know me, I'm gonna attempt to not burn my tongue, but we gotta get a bite of this. I'm pumped, you know, it's fresh redfish. I know I went a little heavy with the Pi-YAHHHH seasoning there when I seasoned it. It was just kind of coming out of the shaker. It's kind of crazy whenever you're filming and seasoning. You're trying to watch on camera, but you're trying to see where you're going. So I'm expecting a little bit of a kick here, but nonetheless, this smells really good. And if you went out there that's catching them fresh redfish, you're gonna like this right here. So let's go ahead and get this broken open. Ooh, my fish looks so good. My mouth is watering. Try and get a nice bite here of rice, gravy, and fish. See if you can see that. Ooh, look at that. That is beautiful. Yes, indeed. Let's go. Oh, man. That is really good. It really is a tomato gravy, you know? It has that, you know, feel of like almost like an etouffee, but, you know, tomato based. The fish is really fresh, tender. There's some nice spice in there, but it's not too bad for me. It just kind of leaves this lingering spice on my tongue and my palate. It's really good, man. God. And I know you guys saw me put sugar in there. You know, they say that kind of like balances the acidity and the strong tomato flavor. But it's not overly sweet. It's just a good hint of sweetness. Which you can draw a little bit of sweetness from your onions, you know, all your other vegetables that are in there. But that fish, man, God, so flavorful. It's like, it's just full of flavor and flaky and, I don't know what to say, man. Look at this beautiful fish right here, man. Can y'all see that? Gosh, it's just so good. This is a massive plate of food. And I told my wife a while ago, I said, man, I fixed a huge plate of food. There's no way I'm gonna finish this. And she said, you're not gonna eat all that. And I said, don't challenge me, woman. The spice is really good, but that gravy itself, overall, the you know, the texture of it, it's just, man, it's hard for me to describe. But like when I think of good bouillon, this is what I think of. Growing up as a kid, you know, it just was different from any kind of like spaghetti sauce. You know, it It's just a red sauce that has good heat on it, and it just balances well with rice. I don't know if I necessarily would eat this with pasta. It's like a gravy to me. So good. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap. Redfish courtbouillon. You know, I did catfish courtbouillon a long time ago, really in the early days of this page. And I've been wanting to do the courtbouillon video over again, but I did want to do it with redfish, and I'm glad I was finally able to go catch some and make it fresh for you. You know, apply this however you like to whatever fish you have. You know, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily would like throw salmon in there or something like that, but you know, at the end of the day, you know who I am and what I stand for, and that is you do you, all right? So if you want to try something wild with it, go ahead. I think this dish is great. I think the base to this is amazing no matter what fish you throw in there, and I expect some great results for you guys. So all in all, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Pi-YAHHHH!
Don't mean that much to me, 'cause I got higher definition in my reality. What's happening?